Today I am walking you through step by step how to complete the Tomb's main quest Easter egg. Everything from building the ice staff, completing the lockdowns, and the absolute easiest way to beat the boss fight every single time. Let's get started. Starting with the augments, we have PhD Slider and Tribologist, always great for boss fights. Parting Gift in Vulturate is going to give us Wonder Weapon ammo through Vulturate. There is a step that will cause you to take fall damage if you get it wrong, so Free Faller is always good on stamina. Personally, I like Electric Cherry paired with Speed Cola's classic formula for the ice staff, and Quick Swap is good too. We're going to use 2 field upgrades. We're going to start with Energy Mine and an extra turret charge, and then we're going to switch to Aether Shroud with Burst Dash and extra charge. For our weapon, we are going to be using this Krieg C class. Although full transparency, I haven't beat this Easter egg with this assault rifle, but I have done it with the AK, the Tonto, the PPSH, but the general consensus of the best weapon you can use is going to be the ASG shotgun. The reason I'm not using the ASG is because I kind of want to show you what a regular gun is like, just in case you were curious. Something I always like to do is come pick up this shovel here because there are dig sites around the map that can get us extra salvage and sometimes even free perks. As you grow more familiar with the map, you'll be able to know where these dig sites are and more effectively take advantage of them. And so the first thing we got to do is open up Pack-a-Punch, which is really easy. All you need to do is get enough points to open up all the doors, which this is a pretty expensive map, but also there's only like 6 doors or something. It might not be a bad idea to pick up a random weapon from the dig sites or these crystals if you start seeing them, because if you're like me, you might have a little bit of an ammo problem throughout this entire egg. Well, at least until we get the ice staff. So now we have enough points for this third door. We can go into this absolutely breathtaking, oh, the jump scares over there. Okay, cool. And we can open up the Pack-a-Punch. Now, once we open the portal to Pack-a-Punch, these Aether crystals are going to spawn in the traps, and I always like to just double check and make sure that we have them spawned up here. If they're down there, I like to shoot that one to start its rotation. Don't worry, we'll get into that later. While we are here at Pack-a-Punch, instead of straight up Pack-a-Punching right away, what you're gonna want to do is this little side Easter egg. If you come up to the Pack-a-Punch area looking at the red door at that rock right there, if you shoot it, that will start these rocks spinning. There are 5 spinning rocks, and if you shoot them all fairly quickly, you will get a free Pack-a-Punch crystal. There's 1, 2, there's 3, can we get it? There's 3, there's 4, where's 5 at? Sometimes it can be moving pretty slowly or in the background. Oh, there it is. Okay, I don't think we got it. Nope, we got to get these other ones. 4 and 5. I think that was it. Sweet. Never, ever Pack-a-Punch your weapon first with the Pack-a-Punch machine. Always doing that is super easy. Plus, you get a free cryo freeze with it. Now, with this cryo freeze, you can shoot this waterfall and that waterfall, and you will get a free Aether tool. You don't have to do this. This is not part of the main quest. But if we wait until round 11, which is what we're going to do, we're going to get a free epic Aether tool, which is going to be really good for salvage. And before we kill this last zombie, remember, we're only on round 5, and those Aether lanterns are now active because we opened up these portals. We are going to go back to this room, and we are going to see where this lantern is. Now, there are 4 spots in each room where these lanterns can spawn, and they are little mini traps there. We want an Aether lantern to be here for the first step of the ice staff. And the way we rotate that is by shooting the Aether flame, or whatever that crystal's called. This is the most tedious part about this quest, which is good because it means after this, it is basically non-stop action. These crystals do take a little bit of time. They take a total of 45 seconds to recharge. And of course, you're going to get the worst RNG luck. You're going to have to go through all of the other lantern locations before you get it on the one you want. Beautiful. We got it on that one. Very nice. And so now that we have this lantern here, what we're going to do is we're going to progress the rounds until round 8. This would be the perfect time to tell you that if you are not doing these steps as early as I am, please do not worry. You do not need to be super efficient with this ice staff. Most of the time when I'm doing this Easter egg, I'm going to wait until round 25 until the Wonder Fizz comes in to get the rest of my perks anyway. So long as you're comfortable doing these steps in sort of the later-ish rounds, the medium rounds, then really don't worry, don't stress yourself out, especially once you upgrade the ice staff. The upgraded ice staff is like easy mode. So take your time, be sure you're point maximizing with all the headshots, and once you reach round 11, you will get this shock mimic spawning in. This is part of the quest, and once you kill it, it will drop a monocle which will allow you to see these Roman numerals. And genuine question, how many of you beautiful people understand and know how to read Roman numerals? I ask because I might make a key for this, but I don't know how useful it would be. But assuming you know your Star Wars movies, we're going to start with 1, and then we will go to 2, which goes to 3, 4 is right there, 5 is right there, 6 right there, 7 is there, and then 8. You can fail those symbols pretty consistently, so don't worry too much. It's not like you lose your progress or anything, but once you successfully do it, it will start in this mini lockdown. There are, I believe, 5 waves of this lockdown, the first of which being like normal zombies and parasites and vermin. Once you kill all of the glowing purple-eyed zombies, it will move to the next phase here, which will spawn in a shock mimic from now on. So you do want to keep moving and just survive these lockdowns. If you do ever get overwhelmed, you are free to leave. You can go. It will shut down the lockdown. However, if you ever re-enter this place, it will restart the lockdown from the place that you left off, which in my opinion is really nice. So if you're on the last step of this and you need to leave, don't be afraid. You're not going to lose your entire progress. You're just going to lose the last wave of your progress. Next wave, we've got a mimic and I believe a Doppleghast coming through. I will say every time I've done this, maybe it's because I'm not upgrading my weapon, I usually need to buy ammo. Luckily, I usually have a good couple thousand points, as well as there is an ammo crate in both of these rooms that we have to do these lockdowns in. So this is the last one. You can tell it's the last one because it's right next to the symbols that we shot. And I want to show you what it is like to leave here. We're going to leave 1 zombie. This actually keeps track of how many zombies you need to kill. So you can see it's the last wave. We've got this 1 purple zombie left. We're gonna leave. It's gonna automatically despawn, and then we will jump back in. It'll start it up again. But what's cool about this is that as soon as I kill one of these guys, actually it's only going to spawn one of these guys. Cool. So once it spawns in one, it's going to complete it. So like I said, really don't be afraid to leave if you need to, but it's going to spawn a max ammo and one of our staff pieces. But of course, like I always say, go at your own pace. If you are feeling overwhelmed, please grab some Juggernaut, get some tier 2 armor. Don't rush this. Like I said, we've got plenty of rounds to kill here. So now that same exact process we're going to need to do on this side of the map near Deadshot in this room, and we're going to need the lantern to appear right here. I know it's really dark on YouTube, but we're going to need to shoot that lantern. You can kind of get comfortable with the room, see where everything's at, and just be patient when the lantern doesn't change into the one you need it to. And there we go. Very nice. Now this one has a lot more Roman numerals on it, so I'm going to end the round. Let's see. We've got Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and we're not at 10 yet. Okay, there we go. Now, this side of this little lockdown area tends to be a little bit more difficult if you ask me. So what I like to do is I like to kind of go outside of the room that it's actually in, so that way they can funnel all throughout this one single area. And most of the time, these fires will be going, which will help me damage them just a little bit, which is really nice. Oh yes, did I mention midway through you get a max armor? I think I did. Got our shock mimic, we've got a Doppelghast, a bunch of this stuff, and then the final one is going to be right on top of the painting. Once again, we'll funnel them all throughout here, make sure that shock mimic doesn't grab ya, and then if you want to just move on, you just rotate through these little choke points. It's really nice. These Doppelghasts are really fast, and then finish off the zombies, and that should be all of it done. You have your second piece of the ice staff as well as a max ammo, and now we could take both of those pieces back into the dark ether, and this is what everybody is worried about. This lockdown here is so darn tough. So tough, in fact, I would recommend, well, I don't know if I recommend it yet. I'm going to try to go until round 11, so that way I get my epic ether tool from this Easter egg, and we have a strategy that one of you beautiful people told me about. I wish I could find the comment. They recommended using the turret strategy for energy mine, and that I think is going to work brilliantly. I tried it out in a couple games and it's never failed me, at least not yet. In terms of preparation, near this blue portal there is a free bonus points hidden in this little zombie spawn, and it might not be the worst idea to come down here and buy tier 2 armor, which is crazy for me to say because I hardly ever bought tier 2 armor before round like 20, but it just goes to show you how hard and challenging this Easter egg quest can be. But here we are are at the end of round 10. That should be round 11, obviously, that's how numbers work. And then we're going to shoot these two, those two waterfalls, and we're going to get our epic Aether tool. And we are now already 3,000 salvage towards our legendary tool, which is awesome. So now I've got an epic Aether tool weapon, a Pack-a-Punch 1 gun. I've got a decoy, which I think is important, and 2 of these turrets for energy mine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one down here and then place one down here. The placement doesn't really matter, but then what I think the key is to this, I think what might really help is bringing the zombies this way. Those energy mines are going to target any zombies that are close by. And there really is only a handful of enemies that ever target the ice staff. So as you can see there, the energy mines are taking care of all of the enemies that are going after the ice staff. This is such a great strategy. So if you come over here, and there's this ledge, which is really nice, you can jump onto too if you want to just train around and just double check and make sure your energy mine is doing the work. But you can see most of the zombies are going after you. Not many of them are going after the ice staff. Oh, you can see it taking a little bit of damage there. So you do want to be kind of in close proximity. Plus there are a ton of parasites. So having the cryo freeze from that previous Easter egg is really beneficial. But as you can see, this is kind of what I do. I kind of go down here, I shoot the parasites, get the vermin from out of here because man, oh man, are they annoying. And then I kind of just circle around and I'm always ready just in case that ice staff is taking any extra damage. But man, it's working like a charm. Let's go. And then we've only got one. Okay, there goes our energy mine. So we are going to need to be careful about this now. Let's throw down our decoy. I'm going to get some more zombie kills up here. We've got like what it seems to be one final phase of this thing. We just want to be even closer to this, and there you go. Wow, that was really close to that energy mine taking care of it. I've had runs where the energy mine takes care of everything and I don't even need to kill anything. So that is the easy way of doing this lockdown. Energy mine, double turrets, it's beautiful. Not even a sweat. And believe me, I have sweat so hard during this step. And before you leave the Dark Aether to go to the next step, I always try to remember to switch your field upgrade to Aether Shroud. We will be using the Aether Shroud in, well, whatever situation we get to, but also the boss fight. The boss fight, Aether Shroud is basically essential at this point as far as we're comfortable. But if you got this far, good job, because that's really the hardest step. Now it's kind of all fun. Always be sure you check your ammo before you do this next step as well, because now we're going to need to do the infamous step shooting 3 Aether lanterns within 10 seconds. This can be done with any Aether lantern. However, these 3 here, the one in this room, and the room that we were in for the first ice staff piece, is always really consistent for me. Especially if the crystal is one of these guys up here, it's really nice. That's why I said earlier, make sure it's not one of those down there. It doesn't matter where it's at in this room because we're going to be running past this room, and because we did the ice staff upgrade, it's always going to be in that crystal there because, you know, you just did the ice staff unless you shot it. Now, I think I have my hit markers off, so I won't be able to tell, but what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go here, kind of shoot that guy. That's good. And then I like to slide down, shoot that guy, go over there, slide if you can, get a line of sight, and then shoot that guy. And you should get a quote from Archibald if done correctly. So yeah, pretty fun step if you ask me. A lot of people get frustrated with that, but that's like an OG Easter egg step. This kind of like tap your head and rub your belly sort of thing and make this thing happen. So because we've done that, now there are these symbols on these rocks that we need to shoot with the ice staff and the ice staff only. If you shoot it with a regular gun, it's not going to do anything. That's what I'm saying here. These rocks are different every game, but they are the Modern Warfare 3 zombies teleport symbols. Now, everybody has different names for these. You're going to need your own different name. You can write them down. You can kind of take a picture of them. I've seen people see, but I've memorized these. I've played a lot of Modern Warfare zombies, so I've gotten to know these symbols pretty easily. Now, once you've got all 3 of your rocks shot, there will be another rock that will place itself underneath this Dark Aether crystal type thing. These rocks act as little coordinates, kind of like Stargate. And now that we've shot all 3 of these rocks, one of these portals is going to deactivate. And it turns out it's the spawn blue one. It is our job to memorize these symbols like coordinates and input them correctly into the other door. So we have our little straight kind of, I call that like a J symbol. This is going to be a hangman symbol because if you look at it, it kind of looks like a little hangman symbol. And then this tiny little guy is the dinosaur. So we got Jay, dinosaur, and hangman. But before we do so, I do need to mention this might be a good time to buy speed cola if you want. I don't know why, it just makes me feel better doing this step. But because this portal is deactivated, we obviously need to go through another portal to get back to spawn. And you will see the symbols again, and all we need to do is input them correctly. So we've got the little J, we've got the hangman, and we've got the dinosaur all right there in a line. Now this is very, very important. If you've done it correctly, you'll see these portals or the symbols line up right there next to the portal. If you've put in the wrong symbols, those symbols will not be lit up right there. And if you go through that portal, you will fall to your death from the island, unless you have that stamina up augment. If you know you've input the wrong symbols, all you need to do is go back through a different portal and you will spawn in just fine and go to the next round and the door will reset. The symbols will be the same, but you'll need to input the correct symbols this time. But if you've done it correctly, like we have right here, we are going to land on top of this floating island, just like so, with this little purple wisp. We need to interact with this wisp, and it will start an escort sequence, and we need to follow it. And if you're on co-op, all of your buddies need to be in the dark ether too, and need to be nearby. Now, as far as I'm aware, you don't need to kill zombies during this whole thing, but like, you're gonna want to. I mean, it gets kind of crazy if you just let the bad guys keep running at you. This does get very hectic, and what I like to do first is I like to go through all of these places with my gun, and the more you do it, the more you'll understand where these spawns are coming from. So I know this is going to be a Doppleghast, and then I know if we go through this corridor, we'll be fine with another set of zombies. But then as soon as we get to this little corridor, we're going to get another Doppleghast spawning in. I've done this quite a few times if you couldn't tell. And then we'll go around here, and it's about around here after those Doppelghasts when we get up near the Pack-a-Punch area where it's going to spawn in this dumb amalgam. So what I like to do is I like to just spam the amalgam with the ice staff, because you don't need to kill them, and you don't need to technically kill any zombies, but like I said, leaving them alive is kind of silly. But the ice staff does a good job of slowing down the amalgam, just so that way this orb can finish up its rotation going over here. Now the ice staff, I've tried using the ice staff, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I've tried using the ice staff during that whole process, and you just run out of ammo, and the base ice staff is just not it. So making sure you have a good weapon is very key. But once you've done that successfully, you can come up here, interact with this, and you have the upgraded ice staff. And get ready, because we're about to fly through this Easter egg. Go ahead and switch to your alternate fire, and right here on the vermin statue, you're going to shoot this crystal and interact with it, and that is going to start our very first lockdown sequence. This is where it's basically a speed run to the finish, really fun, but let's do this first. Going to spawn, there is a corresponding vermin statue here that we can interact with, and we are, I think it's a little glitched out, maybe it's my HUD settings, but we have like a minute. This is a timed sequence, and we have a minute to collect as many vermin souls as needed to fill up this ether energy, I guess. And luckily there are a ton of these things spawned in. Oh, and it's a vermin round too, that's wonderful. However, we should have it basically completed, and now what we're going to do is we're going to interact with this again. Actually, we can't interact with it because it's a vermin round. What a great example. During this step, you are not allowed to do anything during a vermin round. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to transfer this energy back to the dark ether corresponding statue. However, the twist is we're not allowed to get hit more than 3 times, and this dark ether portal is going to shut down. So we interact with that. There's going to be zombies spawning in front of us. You can use your ice staff to kill them, but like I said, you can take up to 3 hits. It's just on the 4th hit you will lose this dark ether energy, and you'll need to transfer it again. So you'll need to go to the next dark ether portal and go into here. Right side, left side doesn't quite matter. And then I know from this side it's going to be this one here. This is kind of the hardest part, figuring out which statue it is, but there you go. You put it there, it energizes this beam. It's really cool. It focuses its energy there, and we've got 1 step of this Easter egg done. We go in a clockwise formation here to the parasite. We use our healing thing on it, interact with it, and we're on to the next one. And then we're going to repeat this process. I think you guys get it from now, but each one has a little bit of a twist. So with this parasite one, once we activate it, we're going to need to kill the parasites that spawn in, and some of them will be glowing purple, and they will drop some sort of essence, just like this. And you can just walk over it, and we're going to need to bring that essence over to the statue. And luckily, you don't don't need to hit any buttons, and you can charge your ice staff during this whole process. So this one really isn't all that difficult. However, I have had it a couple times where the parasites don't seem to drop as much energy as you need to progress. So if you ever fail, then you'll just need to go to the next round. It's not that big of a deal. And like I said, there's a lot of rounds to kill during this Easter egg, so don't stress out too much about it. You'll get it. I think you need 10. I think that's MZC's number. I think he said during his guide you need like 10 of these guys, which makes sense to me. We're certainly getting close. I think this ought to be the last one, maybe. Am I counting right? Nope, we've got one more to do. We might not get it. Where's this last one? There you go. It's right here. I think we can get it, right? Maybe. Did we get it? Did we get it? Oh, we got it. Nice. So then same thing. We're going to take this energy and then we're going to run to the next nearest. Oh, because the portal shuts down. That's a good shot of that. Kill the zombies in front of us. No big deal. You don't even need to kill the zombies if you don't want to. And then go to the obelisk that is the next clockwise direction. Interact with it and you've collected another energy. And enjoy the spectacle that is this Easter egg, because next we are going to this one with the Doppleghast. Go and shoot it with your healing staff, interact with it, and we're going over to the Speed Cola portal. And this one is really easy, just like the Vermin one. We're going to need to kill Doppelghasts here. The twist is these little beams will emit the Doppelghast's like effect. So if you stand in it, it will actually like slow you down and give you the Doppelghast effect. Doesn't hurt you too much, but will slow you down, especially if you're doing this on a higher round and can eventually kill you. But do you see what I mean about the ice staff just carrying you through this? I should talk about how the ice staff works. I'm going to do that after we transfer this energy. Oh, I didn't open this door. That's fine. We got it. It's okay. We'll go through here. Oh, it's cooling down. Well, that's not good. Hopefully we can get it. Can we get it? Okay, all right, cool down. Wow, we did that so fast that gateway didn't even cool down. That's crazy. Anyway, back in the Dark Aether, next portal clockwise to this direction. Let's shoot you, and then here we are. With our healing orb, we'll get this guy and do the Amalgam one. It's gorgeous every time. I love this Easter egg. We will talk about the ice staff after we do this Amalgam lockdown here. This one's a little different. This Amalgam is going to be an HVT Amalgam, and it's not going to slow down due to the snowstorm that your ice staff provides, but it will go through these immune phases. It will shield itself, and what'll happen is you'll need to break the shield by killing a zombie that's nearby, just like this guy's attached. So once he dies, the shield will go down and you can damage him. But the ice storm of this ice staff does a lot of good damage. That is when you actually get the ice storm effect. So this one is actually really easy. Don't be too afraid to do this because it's really not that bad. And he dropped us a chopper gunner, which is nice. But once again, we'll take this energy. This one's a little bit longer of a walk. That's okay. You can enjoy the beautiful scenery. We'll go through this door. This door's a little weird, like there's a lot of zombies, but I think we should be okay. Then we can snake our way into here. And then the last pillar should be the obvious one. It's the one not lit up. We'll make our way over to it, activate it. We get a fun little mysterious musical cue as 4 of these guys energize and finally shoots the energy at this beautiful doorway. And once you come over here, you'll get a bunch of character quotes and you'll need to interact with this little pedestal. And this is going to build a bridge and we're going to cross over it. And how many of you guys are ready for the boss fight? I know I am not, but this is it. That's the boss fight. But first, we're going to try to speed run to round 25 and get geared up. A good idea to get geared up is by punching these things, I think it's 4 times, and they will let out these little parasites. And as you can see, they drop some good stuff. A lot of the time, they will drop perks. I remember in my first live playthrough of this with you beautiful people, I had like 2 or 3 perks just from these things alone. So it's always beneficial to come in here. You get some kill streaks just to see. If you don't need any perks, if you don't need any of that sort of thing, you could just shoot them for extra salvage. Now, what's cool about this is I have enough salvage for a legendary tool and it's only round 16. That is nuts. Oh, there's an amalgam. So as we progress through these rounds here, let's talk about the ice staff functionality because it is very important for this boss fight. If you shoot one thing of the ice staff, it will take 1 ammo. If you half charge it and don't charge it enough, it will still only take 1 ammo and it will not produce the ice storm that you want it to, which can lead to your death. You need to wait a good amount of time before you get the ice staff effect or the snowstorm effect or whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, it's kind of more of a feel thing. I haven't heard a really distinguished sound cue other than the actual staff charging up, you are going to need to play around with it and get a feel for it yourself before you know when exactly a full charge shot is. It might be worth noting the first 3 perks that you choose will be the ones that you get if you go down during this boss fight. And so personally, I'm going to stick with Jug, Speed Cola, and I'm actually going to get PhD here as my 3rd perk. I think these might be the 3 most important perks of this boss fight. Now, between you and me, there is currently an Ice Staff glitch that if you have the hand cannon out while the Ice Staff Storm is killing zombies, it will deal significantly more damage, especially to boss zombies. A lot of people are using that to go to high rounds. A lot of people are using that for the Easter egg. I will not be using that just in case it gets patched. In terms of equipment, I personally like using Casimir's, but it is worth noting that shock mimics will actually disable Casimir's. However, they do not disable monkey bombs. So if you're really struggling and you want a piece of equipment, you might want to go with the monkey bombs depending on what stage of the boss fight that you're struggling with. For your ammo mod, it might be nice to have dead wire just in case you do have to deal with amalgams in the boss fight. Plus, if you have the lightning attack, it like attacks everything, which is really good. And something that's nice to do before you get set up is a little free perk Easter egg. There are lanterns around this room that if you light up, not only will it give you Molotovs, so you just need to get like 1 Molotov and then you can kind of just chain these Molotovs together and make sure you don't miss, so that way you can replenish your Molotov. And then on the last one right there, it will spawn in a free perk. And now that it's round 25, we can get all of the perks that we want. We want Vulture Aid, we want that, we want that. And then you don't really need Death Perception or Melee Macchiato, but I think this is it. We've got all the perks that we want: armor, triple pack-a-punch legendary weapon with dead wire. We do have that mutant injection instead of that hand cannon. You could do the hand cannon strategy if you want, if it's not patched yet. I don't think we're gonna need any Gobblegums. If you are gonna go Gobblegums, Idolize is of course really good. Insta kills are good. And then honestly, Shields Up is pretty good too. If you're playing on co-op, make sure you have a self-revive if that's what you want. Make sure you kept your Ice Staff because that's the crux of this strategy. And let's begin the most difficult boss fight in Black Ops 6 so far. This is so much like an original Easter egg boss fight because it's way more strategic than hitting some boss's weak point over and over again. Oop, there's Vulture Aid coming in handy right there, giving me another Casimir. So what this is going to do, this Sentinel artifact is clearly, you know, deploying a beam that's shocking you. Whatever you do not, I repeat, do not stand in front of that beam. That beam is basically like an instant game over for you, especially on solo. Luckily, we really don't need to worry about this beam at all with this strategy. As you can see, for this first part, I'm just standing underneath here, spamming the Ice Staff because the Ice Staff has tons of ammo, and with the Vulture Aid augment, we can replenish our ammo from those ammo drops, so Treyarch, please don't ever nerf that. Once this goes up in the air for the second time, it is going to eventually stop on the Vermin statue, and we're going to need to shoot something down to protect us, and that is when it's going to become vulnerable. And so all you need to do is just shoot it until it's destroyed, until it's broken. You can see this Krig is doing pretty good, and that is going to break it into 2 separate pieces. And now, well, successfully doing so is going to give you a max ammo as well. And now we're going to need to dodge 2 different beams here. You see the pattern? So all you need to do is just slowly walk with this thing. You could crouch, you can lie down. I feel better, my like twitchy nervous energy, I feel better just walking with it. You can see it's rising up first. And what you don't see, what I don't think I'm gonna really get to show you, is what the beam does as you're shooting it. As you're shooting it, there's like a beam of energy that is slowly making its way towards the statues, and if it reaches the statues, it spawns in those bosses. So it's really not that big of a deal, but in the second half, you are not going to be able to stop these Sentinel artifacts from activating the bosses. But here it is, second rotation around, or second time going up. We're gonna wait until it stops on the Vermin and Parasite statues, which I think is this one right here. We're going to shoot down an Ice Staff to protect us, and we are going to go to town on this guy. We'll focus fire on 1. We will hopefully break it. I'll reload and go focus fire on 2. You could have seen maybe just a tiny little thing of the energy going over there, and we did it twice. Cool. So that was actually a skip. If you break it once, it'll go to 3, but if you break it again, it goes to 4. So we actually skipped a step. You can see we got 2 max ammos there, and now I am lying down on the ground. That's right. I think I've made the joke in every single Easter egg video I've done, but this Easter egg is so easy, you could do it lying down. However, this is the last time that you are going to be able to stand in the center for this Easter egg. And then once they rise up, you can grab your max ammo. You're all good. Again, like I said, ammo is not your problem here, especially if you're on an early round, like before round 30. It's really good. All you got to do now is just make sure it's not dropping on you again. And then it's going to come down. You're going to lie down again. I've heard you can crouch, but I am not going to test out that theory right now. And then once it goes up again, we're going to wait for it to activate and become vulnerable. All right, it's ready now. We'll shoot down an ice staff and we'll go to town on one of these guys. Doesn't matter which one, whichever one you shoot, it's not going to spawn. So you see those orbs, they're going to spawn and everything, which I probably should have shot a different one, but these guys are immune now. And you are going to want to keep an eye on this Sentinel artifact, the orange one, because that is the most important thing right now, because now those 4 original Sentinel artifacts are going to continuously spin, and you're not going to be able to stop it whatsoever. And so for the second half, I love coming down here and just training, just taking it casual, shooting the ice staff. I see a lot of people, the biggest problem I see with people with this Easter egg is using their regular weapon. Many people will use their regular weapon during the weakening of this guy, and it will just kill you. We'll explain later, but now as you can see, it's split up again. There's a blue one, and an orange one, I guess. We're following the orange one. The blue one is an imposter. It's a fake. And this one is very dangerous because this one is a Doppleghast. This one, I repeat, you do not want to mess with this one because it will kill you in like one shot. So use your PhDs, slide away. Whatever you do, do not have it anywhere near you. That is about as close as I want you to take it. You will also notice that the zombie that we had to kill before now has a blue Sentinel artifact. That is because it is now the imposter, and you've got to really be careful. Oh, and as you can see, it's about low on health there. We're going to go ahead and Aether Shroud here. Once you kill it, Aether Shroud or throw a Casimir or throw something, and there you go, you've broken it again. Now we've killed the zombie with it. Actually, I'm gonna go get this max ammo first here. We're gonna do this guy. Now, like I said, those 4 Sentinel artifacts are doing their thing, so we're gonna get a ton of different enemies, and the reason I think so many people fail this is, like I said, they're using their regular weapon, which is great if you want to kill that one special enemy, like the special mimic. I'm sure we could kill this mimic a lot faster with our regular weapon. I don't know, this life staff's doing pretty darn good, but what that regular gun isn't doing is it's not killing the other zombies. Do you see how much is dead right now because I just killed everything with my regular weapon? Oh my goodness, except for that stinking Doppleghast there. What the ice staff allows you is it allows you crowd control. Oh my goodness. Okay, there you go. All right, you do have to like stay on your toes for obviously the fakes around, because the fake Sentinel artifacts can also kill you. And if you haven't been following the pattern, we killed a zombie with the Sentinel artifact, and then the next round it became a fake zombie with the Sentinel artifact, and we had to kill a Doppleghast. We killed the Doppleghast, now that became a fake Doppleghast, and so on and so on. So now we have a zombie, a Doppleghast, and a mimic, all with fake Sentinel artifacts out to get us, except this ice staff has been killing them. And before we kill this guy, I want to point out that health bars are almost necessary here, and the HVT having more health is almost good, because it means, look, now there's like fewer zombies. We don't have 17 Doppelghast or amalgamations on us, except for the ones that just spawned in, obviously. As you're getting closer and closer to killing this guy, those Sentinel artifacts are going to be spawning in more and more stuff. Oh, dang it, it dropped one right there. So we're going to try to throw down a Casimir. We're going to pivot around to see any other bosses coming our way. Hopefully we can kill it. Can we do it? Very good. That was really risky. I usually try to save an Aether Shroud for the final event there, but that's all it takes. That was really difficult to do while talking. Now we have our final phase, which is basically just a little flourish here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Sentinel artifacts, all joining power with this Sentinel artifact, and our job is to destroy this Sentinel artifact before all of these guys can get absorbed. So what we'll do, it's going to go up to this door, we're going to shoot the ice staff down here, and we are just going to go to town, go to town, go to town, and you can see its health bar is dropping, and then as soon as we need to reload, I'm going to circle around. In fact, I'm just going to Aether Shroud again. You can use a Monkey Bomb, a Casimir, another ice staff thing, idolize whatever you want to do until you finally get that final shot on the Sentinel artifact. Okay, I was like, oh my goodness, no way that just glitched for me, but there you go until you get the final hit of that Sentinel artifact. I cannot stress enough, I didn't grab every max ammo. When you are in the middle here and you want to grab a max ammo, you need to watch the artifacts and make sure they're raised up, because if they're in the center here, you go in the center, it's gonna zap you right away, insta down. If you are up here at all, the Sentinels they're gonna beam smash you right here, you're gonna go down. Training down here, lower round with the ice staff is good. Now, something I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention, if you're on a high round, you will probably need to use your, oh my goodness, no way, can we fail this? Okay, I think we did it. Okay, if you're on a high round, you might need to use your weapon, but I would strongly recommend using your ice staff until other things are dead, and only shooting your weapon like it was towards the end there when I only had the amalgamation, when there was nothing else in the map or a lot less stuff in the map, because your gun may be great at killing one zombie, but the ice staff is phenomenal at killing the entire horde that you're trying to deal with. And as always, if you're really struggling and need a team to help you out, be sure to join the Discord with the link in the description and use the Looking for Players chat. There's a lot of people that need help, so join up and have fun. Now, if you want to see me beat this for the very first time on stream with Stanley557, J Money, and Lego Unlocked, it was such a fun live stream, so many great moments. Be sure to check them all out right here, and as always, stay beautiful.